very much more than half the savings and investment in the United Kingdom is actually put through and advised by a group of people, unsung heroes in many ways, independent financial advisors. They control a very significant amount of money. They have a wonderful relationship with their clients, many of whom has been built up over 15, 20 years. They advise not just on investments, they advise on things like trusts, taxation, inheritance tax, so on and so forth. So they do quite a good job. We know they've done quite a good job, don't we? Because they've been in business now for years and years and years, and still more than 50% of the UK market decide to use them rather than the big retail banks. We all know, don't we, that the retail banks are incompetent and have got into the most appalling mess that the country's probably ever seen, coupled with probably the biggest regulatory shambles that we've ever seen, presided over by a group called the Financial Service Authority. You couldn't believe the incompetence and stupidity of these people. They have no experience of financial services in any depth. The people who work for them don't really have any experience. They're certainly not professionally qualified. And yet they insist on a professional qualification called the FPC, the Financial Planning Certificate for IFAs, Independent Financial Advisors. That's right and proper, and I believe in that, and that was a good idea. Back in the 90s, everybody passed those exams. Now, completely contrary to English law, retrospectively, the FSA, whose members have no qualifications of their own, are insisting that independent financial advisors go back and re-qualify. And of course, many of these independent financial advisors are well into their 50s and early 60s, and they are going to retire in huge numbers, leaving most of Middle England with no advice whatsoever, except the retail banks who have already failed us so badly. The nationalised retail banks, the banks now that are owned by the government, owned by politicians, subsidised by taxpayers, being handed on a plate all these clients. But of course, they don't give proper advice, they don't give good advice, and we'll see a shambles. We've already seen that in the past. So most of Middle England's small investors and medium investors are going to be abandoned. This is completely contrary to the concept of English law, and it's quite wrong. And even the FSA themselves behind the scenes have agreed that RDR, this new system that they're bringing in, the Retail Distributive Development Review, is flawed. But they don't want to lose face. They don't want to lose face, if indeed they had any face left after the shambles that they presided over in the last few years. Would it not be better for them to lose some face than rather than thousands and thousands of people to lose their advisors and advisors to lose their jobs? All this is being aided and abetted by the so-called Conservative Party, who are supposed to support small businesses, supposed to support Middle England, yet they don't. And we've yet to hear from Mark Hoban, who's the new bug in the chair. He's the new guy on the block, the new Conservative guy, who doesn't seem to be any better than the last lot. So a personal message to Mark Hoban, if I may, for goodness sake, sit up, take notice of what people are saying, and do your job. Because I have seen so far what you've written and what you've said, and I am very much less than impressed.